Retail participation is at a rise again. Robinhood sits exactly at the intersection of risk appetite and speculation cycles. Now, if the sentiment flips, Hood becomes either fuel or a warning sign. So let's read this chart together, okay? What we have here is a really, really big move to the downside, a retracement, and the eventual retest of that low. Now, from this perspective, we usually will see 1 to 2 variations, okay? We'll see a retracement going all the way back up to the prior high, which is somewhere close to that $90 level. Now, if that doesn't happen, then the second variation, which kind of looks like that's what's happening, is that we're going to find ourselves in a range, okay? Now, this is a push up into a nice bullish range, so that will kind of give us the starting point of this overall next move, okay? So let's zoom in on this structure at hand, and with any range, like we always say, we got to find the midpoint. So the midpoint of this range subjectively is going to be somewhere, I would say, right there. There we go. And with that being the midpoint, let's kind of shoot this down just a bit. Now we can figure out the deviations both above and below. So with that being said, we can figure out 2 standards above, which would give us that anchored in resistance. And we can also do the same for the downside. So let's get this and to the downside. So now that we have levels of resistance and support pretty clearly defined, we can now understand what it will take for the market to break out of this range, okay? So what we should expect over the next few days or so is for a rotation to go the full distance above this range currently, and for it to rotate now to the downside. So that kind of leads us into the variations of which you need to be aware of. Buying off of this low is very much so appropriate. It will need a twin variation to get off of the floor and a rotation to go back to the upside, okay? Now this is probably the most, obvious situation that we will have. Now, if the market does go up higher first, just be aware that we still have yet to break out of the range. So what we should expect is some sort of GNR pattern as the market now looks to rotate down to the low, okay? Now, once we get down to the low in a situation where we go higher first, just be aware that the green case scenario that we just mentioned is basically still in play, okay? So we can just kind of scoot this thing all the way over to the side, and now we get that same variation that we mentioned earlier on where we're trying to buy off of the low. Now, it will take a either breakout bullishly or bearishly to change this thought process. So for right now, just be aware that if it does break up higher, then we can at least change our game plan to being buyers on the next subsequent pullback to look for a continuation going higher, okay? Now, as always, everyone, if you want to learn this exact framework where you can day trade virtually any stock with high volume, then simply look down below for the Discourse Patreon link, and I will see you all on the next candle.